Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be all about PCOS and my journey. I was diagnosed with PCOS back in 2020 in March, literally like 2 weeks before the world shut down. And since then, I've done a lot of research. I've met a lot of people who have PCOS, and I've made a lot of appointments with professionals who can help me in this journey. And so I really just want to share with you guys some of the things that I've learned along the way, as well as my personal experience. So I'm going to take you back. But before we even jump into that, I just want to thank you all for being here. Thank you for watching this video. This video is a little bit more chill because of the nature of the conversation. So I do have high energy, but it's very much tamed because I want to be able to accurately talk about this so that I can help you or inform you about PCOS, whether that means you have it or you know someone who has it. 1 in 4 women actually do have PCOS in the US, so it is very much common. So I want to tell you a little about maybe what I noticed can help you, and you can notice some things that maybe you've kind of not been paying attention to, and you might take the initiative to go see your doctor and, you know, just see if maybe that's something that's affecting you. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. Okay, so let's go all the way back. In December of 2019, I noticed that my cramps were coming for my cycle, for my period. And I believe January came and I still did not have a period. Then February came, I still not had a period. And I decided in January that I would take my health more seriously. You're supposed to go see a OBGYN every year for a checkup. It's like the doctor, except she takes care of your reproductive health. And so I had not been to the gynecologist since I was pregnant with my son, which was actually the first time I ever saw the gynecologist. And you're supposed to see them when you come of age, which I believe is like 18, or when you're pregnant. No. Excuse me, I misspoke. When you're sexually active is when you're supposed to start going to the gynecologist, so that you can get screened for STDs, STIs. You can learn all about the birth controls that they offer and really just educate yourself on your reproductive system, because now that you're sexually active, that plays a larger role in your life. So I had not been to the gynecologist. I was missing my periods regularly, and I knew that it wasn't pregnancy because at the time I don't even believe that that was like something I was doing. I wasn't sexually active, so I was freaking out. I make this appointment, and I start looking at I start Googling, like, what does a missed period mean? Like, what could that mean? What could that be? And it turns out I see PCOS. So what is PCOS? That was the question that I had. And instead of just, giving you guys a generic explanation, I'm going to give you the definition of PCOS so that you guys can know medically what it is. So PCOS stands for polycystic ovarian syndrome. It is a hormonal disorder causing enlarged ovaries with small cysts on the outer edge. The cause of polycystic ovarian syndrome isn't well understood, but may involve a combination of genetic and environmental factors. More than 200,000 US cases per year. It can't be cured, but treatment can help. Requires a medical diagnosis. You can get lab tests or imaging to diagnose, and it's chronic. It can last for years or be lifelong. So I know that's a lot. It's a lot to unpack. I'm going to try and break it down the best that I can for you guys because it is a very complex thing, and that definition doesn't do what it is justice, but that is the medical definition. So polycystic ovarian syndrome is a hormonal imbalance. So as you know, for your cycle to be regular, you have a whole bunch of hormones happening. So when it comes to time for you to actually get your period, which technically that's not what it's called, it's a whole cycle, but when it's time for you to start the bleeding process, the shedding of your uterine lining, which is what your menstrual cycle is, your body releases hormones that help regulate it and tell it when it's time. When you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, those hormones are all out of balance. So you might have more male hormones like testosterone and the other ones. You know, I'm not a doctor, so bear with me. But those male hormones might be a little bit higher in your system, like higher than they're supposed to be. So they might throw off you getting your period, or you might see like the arrival of like facial hair, and just other things that are associated with having high male hormonal, not male hormone. They're called male hormones. I believe they're called, let me look it up because I don't want to misspeak. Androgens. Okay, yeah, they're called androgens. That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to misspeak. So you might have higher level of androgens in your systems, which we also know as male hormones, which they do cause your hormones to be imbalanced, and as a result that affects your period as well as other things. And it's a whole thing. You can diagnose PCOS a few different ways. You can get your lab test done, which will test your hormones. They'll do a full hormone panel, and when they're testing your hormones, they're going to see the normal balance and versus what you have, and then that is a telltale. What am I saying? Those are I be mad confused sometimes. Those are very definitive ways to tell, like, okay, this person has PCOS. These are her lab test results. So the other way to tell is by seeing the appearance of like facial hair and other things that are distinct characteristics of somebody who has higher levels of testosterone in their system. So that is also how they will diagnose PCOS. For me, I got my lab results done, and I also had them do it's not called a sonogram, but like, you know how when like you're pregnant, they put that thing on your belly. It's like that for your ovaries, except they go inside. And so we could see that there were a lot of immature follicles present, which means that my body wasn't doing what it's supposed to mature the follicles or the eggs and release them. So basically, in a normal cycle, what happens is when it gets to that time of the month, your follicles or eggs are, this is how I understand it, your follicles or eggs are maturing, and then once a month it'll release one egg, and that's like when you're not pregnant, and then that becomes your period, because after it releases the egg, it sheds the uterine lining. However, when you have PCOS, your body doesn't properly, it makes a lot of, I don't think it makes follicles, but your body has a buildup of premature follicles or eggs, and so they're never getting released because your body doesn't recognize that they're mature enough to get released, because they aren't. And so what that becomes is a whole bunch of cysts in your ovaries, as opposed to just like letting them go like it's supposed to once a month. I believe that's correct. But yeah, and so that is what we saw when she went up in my cooch and put the little thing so she could see what it looks like. We just saw a lot of immature follicles, and she pointed to them for me, and she showed me like what they look like versus what they should look like. And so that is how I was diagnosed with PCOS, the combination of both. And after I was diagnosed, we came back in a room. She told me that I could either do birth control, and that would help regulate my period, or I could do the injectables, as we call it, but they have more of a bigger name, but we call them injectables, which is where you give yourself like a little shot, and that helps you to lose weight. So the thought process behind that is that if you lose weight, then your PCOS will become more manageable, because unfortunately another thing that happens with PCOS is your body does not recognize, like your insulin is a hormone and it struggles with the imbalance. So your body is not recognizing that you have enough sugar in your blood to convert to energy. And so it starts to crave sugar and sugar and sugar. And so that's why sometimes you might see people with PCOS have intense sugar cravings, because they're really just trying to get the sugar they need to turn into energy. But they do already have it. It's just their body's not recognizing it because their hormones are out of whack. And So one thing that can help with PCOS is when you lose weight. So when you lose weight, as we know, like a lot of the systems in your body function better. They're able to process things better. They're able to regulate things better. And so that is something that has been known to help people who struggle with PCOS to have more regular periods. I think it's also worth mentioning that because PCOS might be something you have your whole life, the only real reason that you would try and fix it is if it's causing you to have missed periods, causing you to have like a lot of facial hair and symptoms, or causing you to like be infertile, which people automatically assume that when you have PCOS that you're doomed to not have kids. I have a kid. I also don't know when I got PCOS, but there's a lot of people who have PCOS who have kids. So don't be freaked out. Don't start Googling stuff and start saying you can't have kids, because that's what I did, and that's not a road you want to go down before you have to. So with that being said, yeah, so we talked about those options. I decided to do birth control because that was the only thing I thought I could do. I didn't want to put a needle in my stomach. Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. The injectable is really just a needle you put in your stomach. It helps you lose weight, and then it also helps with your insulin levels. It levels them out, and then you also lose weight at a pretty rapid pace, which should in the long run help you to naturally get your period again, and like your body to really help it thrive or whatever. That was scary to me, so I chose to do birth control. And I was also like, okay, like, I mean, a lot of the girls I know are on birth control anyway, so I mean, what can that hurt? So yeah, I did that. I started birth control. I did that for about 4 months, 5 months maybe. This is gonna be nasty, hold on. If you know, you know. That's so nasty. Yeah, so I started birth control for about 4 or 5 months. I got my period like clockwork every 4th week, and I felt like, okay, like maybe this is gonna be the solution. But lo and behold, I ended up starting a workout journey because I was just at a point where I felt like my relationship with God was thriving and flourishing, and my mental health was flourishing at the same time. My emotional health was flourishing. So I was like, let me get my physical health in order, because I feel like that's another area of my life that I can surrender to God. And so I decided to start going on walks. I was very inactive. COVID made me very, very inactive. I was just probably taking walks from bedroom to the kitchen, bedroom to the kitchen. I noticed that like it would hurt when I would walk sometimes for a long time. Like my ankles would just feel like pressure. And I was like, all right, this is not the life I want to live. So let me start working out. And so I started working out by walking. I would walk miles and miles and miles every single day. And that was very painful because I didn't have the right shoes. My body wasn't used to being active, even though I was just walking, and I was walking pretty fast. But I remember just like listening to worship music and being like, I can do this. Like God is giving me the strength. And I did it. I walked. And then probably like 2 months later, I decided to add workouts to the end of my walks. So I was like, I'm going to do my 3.5 mile walk, and then I'm going to do a 10-minute workout. And so when I started doing the 10-minute workouts, I noticed like, okay, like I'm getting stronger, I'm getting stronger, I'm getting stronger. Like, can I add something? So those 10-minute workouts became 20-minute workouts combined with the walking. I felt very like good. I felt like I could do a lot of things. You know, obviously I'm not still at this, like, I'm not at the peak of my workout life or whatever, but I am noticing like, okay, I'm doing all these things, and like I'm feeling the changes in my body. Like, what else can I do to see the changes I want to see? Mind you, this had nothing to really do with my PCOS journey. I was still taking the birth control at this time. It was just something that I wanted to add to my life. So I ended up cutting out bread and pasta, because those were two things that I was consuming at like a crazy rate. Like I was having bread almost every day. I was having pasta like almost every day. And I just knew that if I cut those two things out, that I could, you know, maybe just improve my physicality and just improve my overall quality of life. And for me, it's always like, I'll give myself a month to see like what happens. So I cut those out. I noticed so many changes within a month, and I'm going to try and like post photos within this video so that you guys can see. So this is going to be a long and hard video to edit, but I'm here for the challenge. I started seeing changes and all this stuff. And I just felt so good. You know, when you look good, you feel good, which is why I always have like my makeup on, my hair done, because I feel so good when I look good. And not to say that I don't look good when I don't have makeup on, but I take the time to like put myself together and to present myself in a certain way. So of course it makes me feel beautiful. So fast forward, I'm losing weight. I stopped doing birth control because at this point I wanted to see what my body could do naturally. And I was like, all right, I've been having periods regularly for months now, but I want to see that if with this new active and healthy lifestyle, if I can have my period again regularly. So I stopped the birth control and I had my period regularly. The doctor wanted me to come in for like a 6-month thing. And I think I told them no. Like I was like, they want you to come in to see how like the drugs are doing with you. And I was like, no, I'm okay. And they were like, are you sure? I was like, is there anything I should look out for? Because for me, I don't know about y'all, I have a copay, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay $20 for you to tell me everything looks how it's supposed to look and it'd be a 5-minute appointment. That's ridiculous to me. So I was like, all right, well, is there anything that I should be looking out for just in case, over the phone? And they were like, we'll ask the doctor. So the doctor called me. She's like, are you feeling good? I was like, yeah, I'm feeling fine. She's like, all right, cool. That was it. So I'm so happy I didn't go in, because they really be trying to play you. I had a doctor do that to me one time where they were like, come in to we'll read your results to you. I'm like, you can't just post them on the portal. So they came in, she literally told me everything was clear, and I left, and it was like a 5-minute appointment, and I paid $20. So I was like, I'm not doing that again. But that is neither here nor there. So yeah, at this point, I'm off the birth control. I'm living an active lifestyle. I'm making healthier eating decisions and choices, and I'm feeling good. And then I guess a year goes by, and it gets to the point where I am feeling physically tired because my workouts were very monotonous. Like they were the same every day, and there wasn't much flexibility. I felt like if I wasn't doing the workout that was like really hardcore and intense, where I'm walking 3.5 miles, I'm doing a 40-minute workout, and then I'm biking for 20 minutes, I felt like I wasn't going to get the most out of my workout. And I just felt like, what's the point if I'm not going ham? That's another story. I'm not gonna I kind of went into it, but I'm gonna stop here because this is kind of drifting from what I want to talk about. But all that to say that my fitness journey, my healthy journey, my lifestyle journey, as far as my health and wellness was going, was doing really well. So I decided that I didn't need the birth control, started getting my periods regularly, and that was great up until, let me see when I can have notes, that's why I'm looking. Up until probably this December. So let me do the timeline. December 2019 to like beginning of March, I had not got my period, decided to go to the OBGYN. After that, I took birth control for 5 months, and then I decided that I was going to let my healthy lifestyle take over and not take the birth control and see if my period would come regularly. So I did that, and then up from that point, which was September 2021 until September 2021 till December, no, that was September 2020. Oh my God. September 2020 till December 2021, I had my period normally and regularly, and I was still maintaining an active lifestyle, which I did take a little break because I was exhausted from the monotony, like I was saying. But and then it wasn't until it wasn't until January 2021 that I noticed that I didn't get my period, and I skipped a month. I had all the cramps and all the signs, and I skipped a month. February comes, I skip a month. So I am like, all right, I need to make an appointment. I need to take my hormone issues seriously because, excuse me, they're coming back up. Mind you, I'm still active. I'm nowhere as intense as I used to be as far as working out and eating the way I did, but I am still active. I work out often. If you follow me, you see that. And there's that. I had lost 20 to 25 pounds, but I gained it back, which is crazy because I did gain it back, but I still look like I looked when I was thinner. as far as like losing the weight. Like when I weighed how much I weigh now the first time in 2020 before I started losing weight, I was like more like full and like I didn't look like snatched in this way. So I think that's interesting. Why am I not charging my phone? Why am I like this? Anyway, I'm supposed to charge my phone. Anyway, yeah, so I gained weight. That wasn't what led me to go back to my like specialist or go to a specialist for the first time. It was more so that I wasn't getting my period. But I go to the office, and let me back up. I'm so bad at storytelling, so I'm sorry in advance if you have to like bear with me. I make an appointment with the endocrinologist because my friend, shout outs to her, Ashley, she recommended a endocrinologist who she sees who's helped her with her PCOS journey. And an endocrinologist is a doctor that deals with hormones. So it's perfect because PCOS is a hormonal disorder. So I decided to make that appointment. Unfortunately, they couldn't make it for like 3 weeks out, until 3 weeks out. And so I waited, and this Tuesday I saw her, and I just want to start off by saying that seeing a Black woman in healthcare is just a beautiful thing because of our history in this country, and just being able to see another Black woman like be in such a like position of authority and power, and just I love it. I'm here for it. And I love that. So that was already like a very big thing for me. It's like, oh my gosh, she's a Black woman. I love that. And then the second biggest thing, and also because Black women's issues and Black women are not treated well in healthcare. If you guys know, like when it comes to like giving birth and different things, like studies have shown that doctors don't take pain that Black people give as seriously as they do like our white counterparts. And so it's a whole thing. So just having another person that looks like me take care of me feels amazing always. And so that's a whole thing. But aside from that, I go in there and she's so pleasant. She's pleasant. She's like asking me questions. She's having me go through my whole history. I have never in my life sat in an appointment for an hour and just had a doctor talk to me and just ask me if I have any questions. Like usually the doctors are so in and out because they have like the next patient to get to, or they just can't stay for that long for whatever reason. So I felt like I could just really open up and talk to her, and I can't even say, like, I'm beyond breathless. Like there was a point where I saw like tears come into my eyes, and I was like, just breathe, because I was like, I feel so heard. And I felt when I went to the gynecologist and she diagnosed me with PCOS, like she kind of treated me like I was just another number. Like it was like, okay, yeah, you have PCOS. It wasn't like, you have PCOS. I know that sounds scary. This is what it is. This is how many people deal with this. I want you to know that you can live a long and successful life, and don't worry about like fertility things. And like I didn't get that speech. I got the, okay, you want to do birth control? And I was kind of like, I don't know. Never did birth control before. So to just have somebody who I looked up to before I even met her, just because she's a Black woman in healthcare, validate my feelings, really dive into my specific case, because like I said, I don't know when I got PCOS. And so for her to be like, oh, well, when did you start noticing this? Did you always have that? Like none of those questions were ever asked to me. And it's insane that somebody would put me on a drug like birth control before even having this conversation with me and telling me my options and telling me like what I can do and like what she thinks might help me, and like her, like it was just amazing. So I had such a good experience. Hold on, my throat is getting a little dry. So this is what she told me. So I was given 3 options. I was given metformin, which is a drug that people with diabetes take often in order to help them balance out their insulin levels naturally. Or I guess it's not naturally, but you know what I'm saying. I was given an injectable option, which is to help the same thing, except it has extreme weight loss side effects, which would be optimal for me because after losing weight and seeing how my period could come naturally, that kind of concluded for me, as well as my doctor, that when I lose weight, my period will come naturally, or it could be based on what I've done in the past. So that's kind of our goal, is to help me to lose weight so that that can be my reality and I can just live a more balanced, more hormonally balanced lifestyle. I get distracted easily. Got like nasty stuff on it. Okay. So yeah, so that was the second option, was to do the injectables to help with that. And we just call them injectables, but they have actual medical names. I don't know, but that's what we called them. And then the third one was to do nothing and just continue to try and eat better and take care of my body physically so that I can try and lose the weight and do that and, you know, restore my hormonal balance a little bit. I decided to do metformin, which was option A, because I have now had PCOS for 2 years. I've been in a larger body than I ever have my whole life for probably like 6 years now. And I feel like I am kind of at a point where I'm willing to try something different and see if that can help me in my journey. And for me, that is aiding in like weight loss and aiding in overall health to help me regulate my hormones. So that was the best option for me. I have an appointment in 3 months to see how that's going. And I guess once I get there, we can figure out like next steps, like whether that be continuing on the metformin, ending the metformin, or deciding to do the injectables. I think that the injectables might be an option I'm wanting to consider. I'm scared of, not scared, well, yeah, I guess you could say I'm not scared like, and oh my God, I'm more so like nervous that my reasons for wanting to do the injectables are more so like I just want to like lose weight and like it's a sure way to do that. And I know that's my goal, but I also want to put my health above like my need to fit this image. And I guess part of my fear is rooted in the fact that I only really want to lose weight because I feel like that might help boost my confidence, but I want to feel confident how I look now to the max level. Don't get me wrong, I'm a pretty confident person, and it's not like a competition. I'm not trying to be confident like anybody else. I'm just trying to be the most confident I could be in my being, and I know there's always room for improvement. And so I just hope that I'm doing, you know, these things for the right reason. But at the end of the day, what can I really do besides pray and try and make decisions that I feel like are best for me? So that's really all I got. So yeah, I finished that meeting, which was like an hour, and we did some blood work at the end. I had brought my lab test from 2020. Remember when I told you the OBGYN diagnosed me by doing my full hormonal panel? So I brought those results just to give them a baseline of where I was at, and we did more testing to kind of see, I guess, where I'm at currently. And so, yeah, that's that's what's happening. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say about this. I haven't got my results back yet. I actually just reminded myself that I want to look at them and see where I'm at. But as far as PCOS goes, I just want you guys to keep in mind that PCOS is different for everybody. So what you experience as a PCOS sister, as they call, another sister might not experience. For me, I don't have like a lot of excess facial hair and like acne and different things that are symptoms of PCOS, but that doesn't mean I don't have PCOS, because like I said, there's a lot of different ways to be not a lot, but there's a few different ways to be diagnosed. I also want you to keep in mind that although there is a lot of information on the internet that you can see for PCOS, like you can see like people struggling with fertility and all this stuff, that it's always best to just assume the best until you have to like face, or hold on, sorry guys, I'm getting distracted. it's always best to assume the best until like presented with new information, because there's no reason to worry about something that you don't have to worry about until it's time. Like, there's enough problems in the world. Everybody has their own problems. There's enough. So for me, that was like fertility. I was freaking out because I was like, am I going to be able to have kids in the future? Like, if that's something I decide to do with my husband. And my doctor basically said the same thing. Like, I wouldn't worry about that. Like, clearly you have a son, but also there's a lot of people who have PCOS who don't have trouble getting pregnant, so, or having a child. So I wouldn't really worry about that. And especially if you don't have a reason to right now. So that was something that I just wanted to encourage you in, that all of our journeys are different and we should not get so scared when we Google PCOS or the information around it. So all in all, guys, that pretty much concludes this video. I'm gonna check my notes to just make sure. Yeah, I pretty much hit all my goals in this conversation. If you have any questions or concerns or comments about PCOS and you want to like let me know, you can always DM me. My Instagram is _ TIYEEE, 3 E's, or my content creation Instagram page, which is tiyeland, same as my YouTube page. Those are really good places to reach out to me. Even if I misspoke and had given some information incorrectly and you want to correct me on it, I am so willing to learn and to do better, and yeah, all that's cool for me. So thank you so much as always. It was a pleasure talking to you guys about my journey, and I hope this helps you on your journey. And stay tuned for the weekly vlog as well as our next week video, which might be a little bit more fun. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye.